Welcome to Power Up Friday. Okay, it's our 10-day ahead report, my darlings, and the energies are gearing up. They're revving up. Things are getting more extreme. Things are getting more intense. And thank goodness, because it was about to get really friggin' boring. So as life gets more exciting as we progress throughout the month in the next 10 days, I want to remind you that prior to this, it was boring. It was super freaking boring. Boring. It was boring. But we were tired. So we kind of needed a rest. But also, we're stepping into a time that is immensely more exciting and that has more to offer us in terms of stimulation. So the name of the game for the next 10 days is stimulation. Good stimuli, bad stimuli, noticing what is stimuli, and more importantly, noticing where certain stimuli in your life get a bad rep when they don't do anything bad to you. Certain stimuli that you associate with maybe being triggered or traumatized that isn't necessarily a sign of you being triggered or traumatized. Let's power up and get into it. First of all, stepping out of such a boring energy, and we were in such a boring energy for so long, I get why we could be compelled to demonize elevation in life. I get that. I get how being stimulated we could associate with being triggered. I get how feeling stimulated we might associate with feeling upset, feeling sensitive, feeling emotional. But feeling emotional in itself is not a bad thing. In fact, emotions communicate so much to us, and our emotions are what allow us to stay in alignment with our spirit. We're stepping out of an emotionally boring time. We're moving into an emotionally stimulating energy. Your emotions are going to be stimulated, and it's not going to release until after the 14th. Today's the 9th, which is crazy. So 10 days from now is the 19th. So yeah. It's in the next 10 days that you're going to experience this energy peak, and you will also get to experience it slightly deflate. The thing is, what God's trying to do here is God's trying to warm you up to understanding that being stimulated does not mean you're triggered, that being stimulated is not a bad thing. It's just that your nervous system has been so bored for so long because it was healing, right? We needed to go through that retrograding time to really pick up lost pieces. And now the nervous system is ready for a challenge. But still, God can't just throw it all at us at once when we were in such a slow moving time. So slowly, things are going to pick up the pace. They're never going to go back to how slow and boring it was before. And in addition, we are not going to be experiencing a slowdown for quite some time now. And I don't want that to make you feel nervous, because ultimately, this is God doing this to the energy. You don't have to do anything different, really. The energies are different enough. You stay present in your moment, present and embodied, just deal with stuff as it comes, you'll find that you have enough energy to get it all done. Where we don't have the energy to get things done, that's more in alignment with when you're forcing things, or when you want to do something even though God's not showing you a clear path to get it done. Where you're going to find that the energy continues to give to you and motivate you is in the things where it's divinely ordained. You might not have known that you're going to have to get this thing done, and now you got to do it. This changed, and now I got to do that. My appointment was rescheduled, and now it's on this day. But I already have to do this and that on that day. That's going to be a busy day. Oh no, but you can handle it. So I foresee for us, busy days ahead, sure. But understand that your nervous system's ability to conceptualize and hold these more rapid moving experiences is maturing. Your nervous system is maturing to be able to hold these more rapid moving experiences. I want you to be open to that experience for yourself. Say this, yeah, it's more, but I'm ready for it. Say this, yeah, it's faster, but I'm ready for it. Yeah, it's different, but God supports me. Okay. Just because it's different, just because it's faster, does not mean that something is wrong, does not mean that something is going bad, but you are going to have to keep moving. What's great is you don't have to force things. God is moving you. You also really don't have to choose too much right now because God is changing things, and it's more about you listening to the changes that God is making in your life. Look how my nails match with my coffee cup. Almost like camouflage nails. That's so cool. How's the audio quality, fam? Everything good on this end? I hope so. Okay, we're going to keep going with the message. All right, so I have to talk to you about how things are speeding up again. The first time that you go at a high rate of speed with skill safely, it's scary. The first time I accidentally started driving over 90 miles an hour, I looked at my speedometer and I got scared because I was comfortable. This is a true story. I'm driving on the highway, not a lot of people on the road, some cars on the road, and I'm just cruising, baby. I'm fucking cruising. And I look at my speedometer, I'm going over 90 miles an hour, and it scared me because I don't think I've ever driven that fast before. And I wasn't even doing it on purpose, like to be unsafe. It was just, I was just cruising. So it was an odd moment for me to be realizing how fast I was going with skill. I was still driving safely, technically, just in a realm that I had never been in before. But I was doing okay. Did I take my foot off the gas and let it slow down a little? Yeah. I'm not trying to get pulled over for fucking reckless driving. All right. I try and stay 14 miles an hour over the speed limit. If you are not a Florida woman or Florida man, then that might sound real wild to you. But here in Florida, hi Mimi. I got your telepathic message that you were coming. I literally got your telepathic message like 40 seconds ago before you joined the chat. La 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 beep beep beep. So things are moving faster, but you are moving forward with skill. I didn't even know I was driving over 90 miles an hour, but when I looked at the speedometer, I got scared, but I had to acknowledge the fact that I was doing okay. I'm not just because I realized I was going 95 when before I realized I was going 95. Before I realized I was going 95, I was fucking fine. So what, now that I know it's 95, I'm not fine? That's not this Bridget. So having that moment of like, oh shit, okay, well, let me slow down a little bit. Also, wow, I really am just, this too fast, too furious kind of girl. Like, wow. Like I let that give to me. And that's what I want you to remember is you're going to have moments in retrospect, not in retrospect, you'll have a moment where you're so in the moment that you don't even realize how fast you're going because you're doing a good job. It's one thing if it's like, wow, it's really hard for me to drive right now. Something's weird with my car. And I look at the speedometer, I'm going over 90, like, oh shit, I can't drive this fast. That'd be different. But that's not the vibe. The vibe is I'm fucking cruising. Yo, I'm fucking cruising. What? I'm going 95. Oh, snap. Look at me. Little speed racer. All right, let me chill out. But dang, okay. That's the vibe here. I get why you might want to be self-critical if things don't feel like they're going well. If it feels like things are like messing up, I get why you would want to be self-critical. But things are going faster and you're going to find that you will keep your balance. So don't get pre-discouraged because you're going to keep your balance, babe. Watch. You're going to keep it. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You're going to have that moment. You're going to realize how fast things are moving. And I just want you to keep surfing. And if you want to slow down a little, that's okay too. You're allowed to do whatever you want. But you find that if God wanted you to slow down sooner, God would have let you realize how fast you were going sooner. If God wanted me to not go 95 sooner, God would have guided me to notice my speedometer sooner. You know, when it was finally time for me not to go 95 anymore, I noticed the speedometer. I was like, oh, shoot, let me slow it down a bit. Whoop, doo, 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 doo. Oh, how funny. Oh, whoops. All right, so that's your late code. And pardon me for moving the camera. You know, I'm not satisfied till I'm satisfied. Okay, what I just did here, that's almost perfect. Look, straighter. I'm gonna bring the cards out. La 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 la. La 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 la. Yay for us. Yay, yay, yay. Oh, thank you for confirmation. The audio is loud and clear. Awesome. Listen, loves. Ooh, lovers at the bottom. I'm feeling like you're so protected. You're so loved. I feel like this is an energy for spiritual breakthroughs. Like if you and God had some beef, if you had some beef with Jesus, with God, if you've had some like spiritual drama or like some kind of spiritual hardship, this is the time, this is the week of forgiveness. You know, this is the week that you realize. Hold on. This is the week where you realize that God was never working against you. And there were some things that were happening in your life that you were perceiving as God was showing you that you kept doing something wrong. But now you're going to realize that God was never against you. It's almost like you switch what team you were playing on this week. You used to not be on your team in some ways. And you didn't realize that because you were simply looking at what God was giving you, and you thought what God was giving you was criticism. And you thought that God was showing you that you were doing something wrong. So you weren't really on your team because you thought you were doing something wrong. And in this energy of this week, it's like now you're going to be getting back on your team because you're going to realize that you were never doing anything wrong. God needed you to be in that friction. God needed you to be in that discomfort. God needed you to be in that moment where it was not comfortable, where you were like, am I doing something wrong? Like, dang, I'm not listening to God. I must not be doing a good job with God. Like, that's when you're not on your team. Being self-critical, that's not on your team. God needed you to be in that moment. Now we're realizing this. Now, this week, we're going to come to realize just how divine all the inconveniences in our life, just how divine they really are. Just how much they truly worked in our favor and to our benefit, beyond our wildest dreams, more than we even knew. So now, let's take a deep breath. Those same inconveniences are in your life. It's your perception of them that is shifting this week. You're starting to realize that, wow, I'm so glad that God never let up on that topic. I'm so glad that God never let up. I'm so glad that God kept it uncomfortable. I'm so glad God kept doing that thing that I thought was God telling me I was doing something wrong. I'm glad he kept doing it even though it was uncomfortable. Because now I get it. God was straight up building my new reality for me under my feet while I was engaging with the old reality. I'm saying me, but I'm saying all of us. These past 2 weeks and then 3 months also in the past has been super uncomfortable because it's really like God is giving you situations to engage with while he behind the scenes is building the new foundation for the new reality under your feet. So you're like, damn, God, I'm so sorry that I'm going through this. And God's like, I gave that to you on purpose to keep you busy and to get you ready to ground here. What are you talking about? You're sorry, God. That's what I kind of like about this energy. It's giving big redemption energy. Red love redemption. It's giving big redemption energy. Red life, red live redemption. It's giving have a baby and the baby is you energy. It's giving big redemption energy because a lot of things you thought that God was doing was God was preparing you for a loss. When it's like, no, honey, God's not preparing you for a loss, but He is chiseling away at you at the final level of that last chapter, of that last page in the book, of the last word in the sentence. And really, you just have to make it to the end punctuation of the period at the end of the last sentence of that last chapter. And just make it to the end of the sentence and to the end of the period. And then we can turn the page and then it's all going to make sense. But that page is not going to be turning. Let me give you an exact date. It's coming in like it's the 14th. Yeah. That page is not going to be turning till the 14th. Now, you guys know I'm not an astrologer. Sometimes I say shit about the planets because I will listen to an astrology report like right before the session. But what it feels like is like there's a full moon on the 14th. If there's actually a full moon on the 14th, I don't know. What it feels like, and that's what I was talking about in the month head report too, is like the 14th feels like an emotional swelling. Anna says there is this weekend. I think it's on Monday. I think there's a full moon on Monday, but I'm feeling the 14th big time. Like an orgasm. You know, that like growing and growing. That. Here's the thing. You're not supposed to crash out on the 13th, the night of the 13th, or on the 14th. That's when the energies get the biggest. You're not supposed to crash out. You're supposed to orgasm. Okay? You're not supposed to crash out. You're supposed to orgasm. You're not supposed to crash out. You're supposed to orgasm. You're not supposed to crash out. You're supposed to experience bliss. You're supposed to let the emotions come up, 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 and release. That's what we're supposed to do with these energies that are building now up till friggin' Wednesday, bro. Up, 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 release. And what's a crash out? Stopping it before it releases, giving it up when it's not ready to release. I'm preparing you for the next 10 days. Prepare yourself. Remember these words. Just because it's intense, it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Intensity is not a reflection of wrongness. Intensity is a sign of life. Intensity is a sign of life. Intensity is a sign of life. The 14th, big fire trine with Moon, Venus, and Mars. Ooh. Thank you for the confirmation. I have more to say, and then I want to do our little cards. Spirit. Yay. God, I feel so much more grown up in this energy. I don't know, y'all. I don't know what I've been going through. I don't have to know. You don't have to know what you've been going through. That's what I'm trying to say. We just get to be alive for it and let God do the heavy lifting. You know, our work is the surrender, which is a word I usually hate to use. But our work is the surrender of this lower aspect of ourself that's naturally aspiring. And the surrender and the acceptance of the higher self that's already here, but letting it take over. And experiencing the awkwardness of the changeover. That before you could only hope and reach and dream for your higher self to take over. And now the higher self is like, move out of the way. Your higher self is like, okay, that's nice. And bye. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. And so there's this element of like, well, shit. Okay, I guess I'm gonna, oh, fine. But the thing is, what you're saying, oh, fine to, is the life of your dreams. You know what I mean? It's the version of yourself that you've always wanted to be. It's the version of yourself that you have been percolating inside of yourself. It's like your inner child and your higher self have already been in cahoots with God. And now finally your consciousness is being brought into the fold because they trust you to hand the reins over to this new version of yourself that's here. So yeah, some people that are super stubborn about their identity, who they are, how they think, what they think, this is going to be a hard energy for them, but that's not any of you. We're in for a really a big transformation is underway. Some people cry after they orgasm. Some people laugh. Some people feel embarrassed. Some people, and I'm sure most of us have done all those things and more. Maybe some people fart. I haven't had that one yet. So I'm not going to tell you how to be, right? I'm not going to tell you how to be. I'm just going to inform you on what the energies are going to feel like so you can get that God's working in your favor. God's doing all this on purpose. Every single time that you're self-criticizing and being like, am I doing something wrong? Remember, the new foundation is already here. Your higher self is already here. If you're doing something wrong, it's not a vibe. If you're different, just say you're different. You know, you might realize moving forward, you have desires, like you want to do something, but you just know it's not right. So naturally, you're going to be like, oh my God, I was about to do something wrong. But what you're going to notice is you can't. The old mindsets worked for the old reality. Now you're in the new reality. The old mindsets are coming up, and you're going to have to keep facing every day for the next 10 days old mindsets wanting you to do things that you just can't do, and you have to do something else. And you just keep choosing different and doing something else because you are different. You are better, hotter, sexier, uncut. Wait, not the last one. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, I have one more thing to say to you. Oh, my cat's here. Hi, honey. I don't want you to come up here because it distracts me, but I love you. And when I finish the session, I'll pick you up, okay? Okay. You embodying your spirit, you accepting your higher self and just accepting that you're allowed to be completely different as much as you want is going to make you feel powerful faster. You know, this energy is highly stimulating, but ultimately this energy is stimulating you to listen to yourself. This energy is highly stimulating, but ultimately this energy is stimulating you to go into yourself. Think about that. Okay. So this energy is motivating us, and it's motivating us to pay more attention to ourselves. Okay. So it's like you might feel like, oh my God, I got to do something. I got to do something. I want to do something. I got to do something. I want to do something. But then you're like, but I don't feel like, I don't know. And this isn't doing that. Isn't because it might be like what you are feeling motivated to do is sit in the dark with a candle and a hot cup of tea listening to music, you know, that kind of thing. You might be like, oh, I feel this motivation to go out and to exert and to exchange and to engage, and none of it's, but it might vibe to go on a solo walk, take yourself to the beach and look at the ocean, go to the grocery store alone, just quietly get things done in your life. finish signing out contracts, like paying bills, running errands, cleaning things out in your house, organizing in your house. That's where this motivation is going to be guiding you inward to clean things up, inward to bring your most innermost self and your most innermost life all into alignment with this higher self that is activated. And so I just want to remind you in these next 10 days, you're going to be motivated like you want to talk to people and you want to be a part of the world, but you'll find that that's not really what your spirit is asking you to do. Your spirit's not going to drive you out to meet specific people or to engage with specific people. Your spirit is going to guide you to go inward. All right. And that's where you're like, I want to go up, but I don't know. That's what that is. Because guess what? There are people that God's going to be aligning you with this week. There are people that God's going to be aligning you with this week. Mm-hmm. You're going to be talking to people. You're going to be engaging with people this week. Absolutely. Your desire to socialize will be fulfilled, but I need you to give it to God. Because the order is not, I want to socialize first and then I'll deal with my spirit. No. The order is you first deal with your spirit and you go into the portal and understanding that if you just want to go out and do, there's an avoidance there. But this is a very big swelling of energy. And I know me personally, I feel things very intensely. I absolutely partake in things that can help me handle the intensity of the energy. So I'm not trying to gaslight you and be like, take the intensity head on. Find your comfort. I trust you to be smart about finding comfort. Because yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. It can be changing, being different. Yeah, seek out the warmth and the nurturing and however. But when it comes to making big plans, to engage with certain people and have a certain kind of next 10 days, it's going to be a lot more like you release the plan to engage with certain people and then you see them at the grocery store and you have an even better exchange than you could have imagined. Or even better, they see you and they reach out to you without you engaging them at all, without you making the first move. Really feels like this week you're not really going to be making the first move with people. Okay? It feels like when it comes to other specific people and specific outcomes, have your wants and dreams, but don't make it have to manifest this week. But have the wants and dreams still. Like you're allowed to be attracted to have desires towards, to have crushes towards, to have fantasies towards, whatever you want. Have all the crushes, have all the fantasies, have all the hopes and dreams that you want to have, okay? Have them all. But just like don't expect that to manifest this week. I feel like I want you to focus on your spring cleaning of the home, on your spring cleaning of the self. But really the spring cleaning of the self is just like, oh my God, my inner self is way louder right now. And she wants stuff that's really specific. And it's not usually what I would do on a Friday night. It's not usually what I do on a Tuesday morning. It's not usually what I do, right? It's not usually what I do, but it's obvious that this is what I need. So let me turn off the lights and light a candle and drink my tea and listen to music and just let my spirit be. And what do you know? Once I do what my spirit needs, I start crying. Oh, it turns out I needed a good cry. Oh, I start having epiphanies. Oh, oh shit, I've been receiving downloads for weeks and I've been ignoring it. I didn't notice. Okay. So I'm not saying that we engage in emotionally avoidant behaviors on purpose out of self-abuse or by feeling like malicious towards ourselves. I think sometimes it just happens. And so, you've taken it too far with avoiding or like trying to escape those emotions that are coming up to finish this chapter when all your mind wants to do is like get out of the house and like do things. But you feel like that's an inner battle. That's because your inner self wants something else that's more nurturing and taking an intimacy with yourself into account more. Because if you were more intimate and loving with yourself, you wouldn't be asking yourself to do all of these things like that. And you would be setting more time aside to let your inner self speak to you, communicate to you. There are obvious things that you need to tell yourself, that you need to feel. Feelings, chapters, traumas, healings, memories from who knows when. All of it coming up this week. Do not run from it, but definitely get privacy for it so it can speak to you, so it can come up and all the way out. Okay? You just repress this shit and keep escaping. That's the crash out energy. And I don't want that for you. Or even worse, repressed too long turns just into shame. I don't want you going in another shame cycle. So I hope that scares you into setting special time aside this coming week to really listen to your spirit. Prioritize how you're feeling. Pay attention to how you're feeling. And then the vibe is like, listen and make it the boss. Oh my God, I really thought, for me, for Bridget, it would be like, oh my God, I'm feeling really stimulated. This would be a great time to go live. But I already went live today, and I kind of feel like an internal battle with that. I kind of feel an internal battle with going live. So rather than push through the internal battle and like still go live, I'm going to pay attention to the internal battle and be like, okay, no, it feels like myself wants me to take this feeling of stimulation, and myself wants me to use it in a different way. Myself wants me to express it and to regulate in a different way than maybe how I usually would. And let me hold space because I love myself and I have an intimate relationship with myself. If my inner self says that I need a moment alone in the dark with a candle, with my pretty reading lamp, with my book, a more of a quiet moment with myself, a private moment, if that's what my inner self requests, even when I'm feeling highly stimulated, then I will use my stimulated energy to provide that for myself, because it takes energy. If you're in a bright house and suddenly your spirit says, turn off the lights, get in an intimate romantic lighting with yourself, get your book, get your tea, get your herbs, get your cat, go in your cozy spot, get your journal. That all takes energy too. So I want to remind you of that. If you're feeling stimulated, you might be like, oh, well, I'm stimulated, so I just want to, do something and go out with that energy and do something. But really, honey, you can go in with that energy and do something. And it takes a lot of energy actually to make the tea and to set up the cozy spot and to move the stuff out of the way and to light your incense. Okay? That takes energy too. But that would be energy that prepares you and sets the space for feeling your feelings. That would be the energy that prepares you and sets the space for that emotional intimacy with yourself, which you might be compelled to avoid. So I hope that these light codes could inspire you. Yay. La 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 la, rututu, rututu, rututututu, sututu, sututu. Hey, la 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 la, rututu, rututu. Okay. Rutu, sututu, rututu, tututu. I'm so excited to get to this portion of the session. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I feel so excited that my date got rescheduled so I could be here with you all and take my time. Sutu rutusu, rutusu, rutusu. Dutu rututu, rututu. Okay, my darlings. You can just see that I have cards out, but you can't see what cards. But don't worry, I'll show you. We have a mood challenge solution spread here. This is all intended to motivate and solidify your commitment to staying in alignment with your spirit and with your highest potential reality, your highest vibrational potential. I only want to bring you closer to your relationship with God. I only want to bring you into your highest vibrational reality, into your best possible life. Okay, so we've got a song. Hello, hello, baby, I can hear a thing. What is that, Lady Gaga? I don't know the words. I should know those lyrics. What's that song? So you should call me. You should call me. Give me some of the lyrics. We need to get into singing this together. Oh, we should just put it on. Yes. Hello, hello, baby, you got get everything. I ain't got no service in the club. You say. Thank you. Oh, now we don't have to flip the song. I was going to take up too much time. Hello, hello, baby. Okay. Oh my God, we got the chorus. I can't sing that high of a note though. The chorus is stop calling. I don't want to think anymore. Dance floor. Okay. It's the beginning of the song. Hello, hello, baby, you called. I can't hear a thing. I ain't got no service in the club. A message. Oh, a message. Oh, that's for the light code I just gave you. You get it? You're not going to hear your spirit in the club. You get it, right? You're not going to hear your spirit in the club. No baddies in the club. Oh, I hit myself. Okay, be a baddie in the club. But first, meditate and journal, and then go to the club. Okay? Listen to your spirit first, and then go to the club. Because you're not going to hear God. You're not going to hear your spirit in the club. Not this week. Okay, I'm done with that light code. I want to get into the cards already. I love you guys. Thank you for sending the lyrics. Otherwise, I was going to fucking delay us another 20 minutes for a sing along. That's not really what you signed up for, is it? Mood, challenge, solution. The mood is super interesting. So it's like the vibe that we're going to be in for the next 10 days is like reflecting on the bad choices you've made, and it's keeping you up at night. And then you feel motivated to take action out of that space. But ultimately, it is a meditative energy that we find ourselves in. The Breathe card is wonderful because this card, it brings divine healing, it brings divine alignment. The Breathe card is truly that reminder to take a deep breath, to settle into your moment, to settle into your body, to be one with God as you are, and breathe your breath of life. And you can move forward from there. And I truly feel like these cards are quite a validation, quite a confirmation for our light code that I gave us, right? Suffering from your past choices, right? Learning from your past choices, emotions, feeling the emotions of your past choices, mentally wanting to get that out of there, but landing yourself in this space instead. You see, that face on her dress, that represents God. That's the face of the divine. Okay. Look at the light, illuminated consciousness. This is a wonderful space to be. Do not let, look at that, a nest of daisies. Do not let your lower self convince you that this is not the ultimate place to be this week, okay? This vibe is your secret weapon, okay? I'm kind of excited now. Now that I've said that, I'm excited. Oh, secret weapon, you say? I'm into it now. Now I'm interested. I needed a little drama. Hello, hello, I can't hear a thing. Yes, we're putting it on. I'm sorry. I'll put it on and then tell me if you can hear it. If you can't, we'll do something. We'll play it in the background while I do the reading if it's not too distracting. Hello, baby. Can you hear it? That's way too distracting. There's no way I can do a video and have that song playing. Okay, so let's get into. Hope you can still hear me. Okay, let's get into the challenge. But I gotta smoke for this because there's a tower card in the challenge. So for the challenge, we got this Queen of Wands. So it's like, remember in the mood, there's this innate desire for your mind to kind of get out of that emotional space that you really need to be in. You know, you don't need to be in this quality of the emotional space, but that's where you're going to feel grounded. That's where you're going to be drawn to be this week. And you're going to be choosing to take this approach instead. But ultimately, you know your consciousness is here. I got to get out of here. Let's fucking go. Let's make a change. That's where your mind is at. It's hard for your mind to imagine that in this space of being seated with your emotions, in the abundance of who you are, that is the ultimate powerful, most self-respecting space you can be. It's hard for you to imagine that right now because it seems like there's a bit of a life overhaul underway. So with a life overhaul underway, we're going to have compassion with ourselves. Now that we see the Tower card in the challenge, when we go back to the mood, and we see that you're going to be having this kind of energy this week, next, I'm going to put them all together. When we look at the challenge, yeah, it's hard for you to sit still and feel like that's the best idea when there's a life overhaul going on. People are being thrown out of your life, and unworthy elements in your life are being kicked out by God. You're not doing it. God's doing it. You're not doing it. God's doing it. So yeah, it's hard for you, but like, let's go back to the mood. I know you want to fucking make some action, but like, God's doing enough is what I'm saying. I'm saying God's doing enough. God's doing enough. God's doing a lot. And the hardest thing this month, so this is hard, right? This is the challenge. Oof, what's going to be making things hard? Oof, to sit still through God's overhaul. That's what's going to be hard in this next week, in these next 10 days. I'll get the right words out. As long as we get the right reading words out. What year are we in? 2019? Got it. Those numbers I'm not the best with. Okay. So yeah, it's gonna be hard for us to sit still while God does this overhaul in our life where there's an element of unpredictability. We don't exactly know what things God is overhauling out of our lives, but it's already happening. It's already underway. You know, it's already too late. That's going to be pretty challenging. And it's taking you back to your mission statement. You're being involuntarily, non-consensually asked to revisit what you view your sole purpose to be from the perspective of what your dreams are. Because ultimately, I feel like midweek, I feel like in the next few days, your dreams are going to change because they're going to be evolving. And you're going to have to ask yourself, why did I start this path in the first place? What are the pieces of my mission statement that I want to keep? And what are the pieces of my mission statement that have expired and no longer resonate anymore? And it would be one thing if you were doing that voluntarily, but instead the universe is kind of asking you to look at it because so much is getting taken from you right now. So yeah, it's hard to, I get it. This is the challenge. I get it. I get why it's going to be hard to just, because so much change is happening and you're kind of feeling like, oh, get me out of here. All these emotions are so heavy. I get it. I get it. Being guided into yourself this week, and it's not comfortable. Being put into this space of like, why? Look, she's wearing a mask. Like, why am I even wearing this mask? Am I even going about things the best way? You ready for the solution? Okay. So finally, we get a different element. We start to see some pentacles. So, okay, Spirit, what do we do with our energy then? Now that we have a clear idea of the mood and of the challenge, what do we do with our energy to make this feel better? How can we feel like we have solutions for the challenges? One is generosity. This doesn't have to actually be you sharing your money, but rather you healing the parts of yourself that previously overgave. I want you to notice how he's holding that scale in his hand. There's an element of fairness here. He is giving, he is generous, but he's not overgiving. In fact, he's measuring how much he's giving to ensure he doesn't overgive. And in healing your overgiving, in realigning with true divine balance, it may even feel a bit sneaky and selfish with your own memories and mind and energy. Like you're taking back all of your energy and you feel like you're not supposed to, and it feels kind of sloppy. These energies are saying you're healing the ways that you used to overgive of yourself. You're healing a lot of these ways, finding a balance, not giving too much, taking a lot of your energy back, right? But it feels kind of sloppy, and that's okay. This is an inside job. No place like home. This is all happening. This is all happening behind closed doors. The no place like home card This is talking about the home within your heart. There's a space when you are alone with yourself where you can commune energy inside of yourself. You can close your eyes and exist with you as you. And there is God. I don't think any of you have an actual performance in this next week or weekend. And if you do, then I'm not talking about that. Because really, this is not giving big performance energy. This is not giving big performance energy. This is giving clunky changes, feeling a little awkward through the transition, but that's okay because no one's supposed to see it, because this is all inside work. This is all stuff that you're doing in your energy, in your emotions, in your mind. And all of that kind of stuff puts you in a vulnerable state. And that's why we always want to do that work when we have privacy. This is not about being surrounded by a bunch of people and knowing exactly who you need to be around this week, because God very well may be removing people from your life this week. So don't attach to people. In fact, it's like turn around, turn your back to your attachments for a second, go back to why you even chose them in the first place. And bring greater fairness with yourself into the mix. And as you bring this greater fairness with yourself into the mix, you're going to feel like this is almost too much. You're going to be like, oh my God, I almost don't have enough room in my arms to get all my energy back. And you feel clumsy and you're not really, well, thank God you're doing this in the privacy of your own home. So you can be a little clumsy in the process. Thank God you took the advice, right? Thank God you didn't fight the energy, right? And you're just letting this happen for you. Facing your memories and finding the peace. Taking all of the stimulation that you feel and using it to go on this inward journey. Letting it guide you towards greater balance in your life and your finances, because you have a greater understanding of your true value of yourself. It does not come easy. On purpose. But when you attain it, you connect with God. So keep breathing. I get that a lot of this energy feels clumsy. It's temporary. Don't do a big performance right now because we are clumsier than usual. And also, it's just like we're in the middle of exiting the cocoon, so to speak. So it's kind of awkward when you're like ripping off pieces of cocoon from you. And then people are like, hey, smile for the photo. Like, wait, hold on. Let me like finish emerging. All right. Let me finish emerging. Let me marvel at my new figure in the mirror. Let me get my new wardrobe. Let me put on my new outfit. Let me put on my new outfit. Let me like, okay, now take my picture. God's not rushing you. There's no one coming to take your picture this week. But maybe in 11 days, maybe in 12 days. And you get to spend all these next 10 days just letting yourself be transformed, building that intimate connection with your spirit, and feeling safely at home with yourself. Perfect. See, I'm so happy to see. The extroverted things are going to start to present themselves to you after these next 10 days. These next 10 days are getting us prepared, getting us ready by going inward, facilitating all the excavation that higher self is doing, that God is doing through you. And rather than like cognitively feeling like you are losing it, it's that God is having you release some of your attachments to things because you're being asked to look again at why you even do it. You might want to go about it a different way that feels more authentic, so you don't have to wear a mask anymore. And that's not easy. But you'll come out on the other side feeling rich, having much to give. Much to give. In closing, we're letting this energetic stimulation bring us inward and then outward. Okay. It's like bring us inward. Okay, self, what do you need? Okay, you need this, that, this, that, this. Okay, let me go get it. Bring us outward. First inward and then out. In a lot of cases, it's when you least expect it, God is going to have stuff for you. When you least expect it, God is going to have things for you. So God can only give things to you. Actually, no, screw that, because we have email on the internet. God is going to find a way for this stuff to reach you. Don't be in a rush to reach out to things. Let things come to you this week. You're doing a lot of work on the inside. There's a lot of work you have to do in your home. There's a lot of work that you want to do to prepare yourself for this next level that you know you deserve, and you do deserve it. Let's take a deep breath. All right, do a little friction with your hands. Shake them out. Shake out the hands in front of your shoulders. So the first thing I want to do is like put your hands maybe on the heart or on your legs, whatever feels comfortable. I want us to empty our lungs. I know that sounds weird, but I want you to imagine that there's a reserve of oxygen that you keep in your lungs around here. Just imagine there's a reserve of oxygen. And it's like, oh, thanks, body. But actually, we need to clear that reserve out because it has latent emotions there. So I don't know if you guys ever hear when I work out, I don't just exhale. I go, I blow out my teeth. I learned this from a breathwork coach. And I kind of put the bottoms of my top teeth kind of against my lip almost. And my jaw's relaxed. But I like feel the air hit my bottom lip and go through my top teeth. And it's a strong percussive exhale. And when I do that, I feel my core engage and I feel my lungs empty out. And that helps in my workouts. That helps me feel fully compressed in my core. And then I start to realize that spiritually and emotionally, that has a massively positive impact on me. And I started getting into Qigong. In Qigong, it's all about having the longest fucking exhale possible. I mean, that's not what it's all about. But one of my favorite parts of Qigong is that long ass exhale. So now that I've kind of been talking to you, right, and you've been exploring it, let's do something together. We'll take a regular inhale, and then we're going to do like a ridiculously animated cartoon exhale until you're like in the exhale. Don't hurt yourself. Don't suffocate yourself. But let's do it together. Okay, regular inhale. Are you ready? Now blow out your nose with the teeth thing. There's more. Keep going. There's more. Keep blowing. There's more. Keep blowing. Oh. Okay, relax. Could you have done more? Feel free to do it again and do more while I'm talking to you. Okay? Feel free to do it again and do more. So I want you to remember that. There's more exhale. There's more. There's more. There's more. Whatever weird stuff, sounds, faces you want to do to facilitate this moving on of the energies. Okay.
All right, so now that we did this, let's do some affirmations and then we'll get going. Thanks again for hanging out with me for so long today. I really appreciate it. I love you guys. I'm so happy that this work can be helpful for you. I'm so happy to exist in the same realm as you. You ready? Do whatever you want with your hands, okay? I'm really not going to be. Actually, just don't. Actually, no, yeah, do whatever the fuck you want. Do whatever you want. So now I can hold my mic again. Repeat after me. As I move forward, I accept my highest vibrational reality. It's natural to accept my highest vibrational potential. I'm naturally attracted to my highest vibrational reality. I can feel its magnetism, my highest vibration, my highest self. She's here. I'm her. I accept. I'm totally cool with this upgrade. It feels good to settle into myself and deepen my intimate connection with my spirit. Breathe. As I move forward, I accept my greater power and the greater responsibility to be true to myself that comes with it. I settle into my heart and I activate my spirit in my body as my highest vibrational potential. And so it is. I accept my highest vibrational potential. And so it is. As I become my highest vibrational potential, I take it inward. I let myself transform. It feels good to take care of myself. And so I keep doing it as a priority. I'm open to curiosity that aligns me with my higher self. I'm open to breathing and uniting with my very highest self in my body as my spirit, connected to God, in alignment with my highest vibrational reality. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Now, if you allow me to pray over you a moment. I send you blessings. I pray God continues to bless you and shine love and light over you. I cover you with protection, with angelic love and light, right in the moments where you feel like you are having the hardest time. I send an angel to you for support. Just ask for help when you need it, and they will be there. When you need help, you just ask God. You just ask the angels. I promise they will be there for you. I'm sending them now. I cover you with protection. But I send you blessed energy that I hope you'll be open to. I hope that you will continue to notice how immensely privileged you are. And I hope you'll continue to get curious about how you can use this in your favor. I can see the reality where you have everything your heart dreams for and more. And I send that to you too, even though you're already in alignment with it. Take a deep breath. In closing, I want to remind you, your body has energy centers, chakras. Your body has these energy centers. View them as spheres that move. They're moving balls. It's not a stagnant energy. So if it ever feels tense in front, maybe, or behind one of these energy centers, reanimate it. Take that stagnant 2D image, turn it into an animated sphere again. You want to let that energy move. You can do it with your imagination. You can do it with your breath. You can do it as well with physical movement. Okay? Your body's going to communicate to you. And I need you to make sure you're at home and in true intimate connection with yourself in this next week so that you can listen to everything, even though it's going to be hard to realize that some people are not going to be with you in this next chapter. I love you guys. You're welcome. Yay. Have a great week, and I'll see you on Instagram very soon. Maybe in a few days, watch the month ahead report again. Maybe around the 12th, 13th, watch the month ahead report again. Might be a good idea. Okay. Love you. Bye, my dears.